Hi, everybody.
Hi. How are you?
I hope everyone's fantastic today. But this is the first date of the Honing Your Horror writing workshop with me. I'm Chelsea Moye.
I'm so excited to have you, Chelsea. This is awesome. I can't wait to dive into our little packets here. These are so awesome, by the way. Really good information in here from what I've seen so far. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. We'll be giving a shout out to the lady who created the packets in just a little while. But first, I'm going to give you a little information about me for those of you who don't know me. I'm Chelsea Moye. I released my first novel in January of this year.
Get my copy. I love this thing. Ta-da! I'm proud.
And in addition to having self-published my first novel, I'd like to give you a little more background on why I'm teaching a writing workshop with you guys. I got my Associate of Science in General Studies from Faulkner State Community College.
Whoop whoop!
And then I got my degree in English and minored in creative writing at Troy University and had some of the best creative writing professors, I think, in the world while I was there. And
who was it?
Oh, God. Some of my favorites. Professor Davis, Orlovsky, Thompson, they were all fantastic.
That's awesome. It's really sweet memories. I love thinking back about the mentors that I had in my life and teachers. So yeah, they can be really influential in your life.
They're fantastic. And speaking of mentors, I've had a really excellent mentor in author Debbie Herbert, who works with Harlequin. And she has been absolutely amazing in helping me in my journey as a writer. But I think that's really enough about me.
Sure.
So let's tell everybody a little bit about the Creative Kitchen and what we're doing here.
Okay, great. The Creative Kitchen is an arts and events venue in Minette, Alabama. If you've had the chance to come by and stop in, we're so thankful for you. You know a little bit about us. You've toured the place. We have 4 rooms up here where we have designated areas for crafting. We have a little craft bar that you're welcome to go through and create some things that we plan out, different dates for parties, social circles, for knitting, for example, or paint parties. We have a paint and pour tea party at 3 today. I'm excited. We do yoga some mornings and some evenings. You can see our schedule on our Facebook page at facebook.com/TCKBM for the Creative Kitchen Bay Minette. And you can also give us a call. We have a little handy dandy call button at the top where you can go through with me different things you may be interested in or events we may have scheduled monthly that are fun, like our comedy nights or our scavenger hunts where we go out and gather materials for different projects we have planned. And we also have a cute little mommy and me group that's starting called Coffee and Kiddos on Wednesday morning, just to hang out, be girls, talk. So it's a fun time. And then we have our writers' luncheons here on Saturdays, and we are going to actually put out some new dates during the week and some morning times for brunch. I love brunch personally. Today we're enjoying some cold apple cider and some apple tarts with a little honey on top. So it's a little mixture of food and fun and art. We'd love to have you, and we appreciate you watching us today as we go through some of these exercises with published author Chelsea Moye. I'm so excited. So anyway, what do you have for us today?
All right. Well, first of all, I've got to give a shout out to my favorite book that I've ever bought as a writer for helping writers in their journey. It's called A Writer's Guide to Persistence by Jordan Rosenfeld. And we're going to start out with a little devotional that was inspired by one of the chapters in this book. And the chapter is Be Resilient After Rejection. And she gives a really great quote at the beginning of it, but I'm going to kind of just spin off that with my own personal experience with rejection for you guys. And
I know we all deal with that, you know.
We really do.
And overcoming that is important in a lot of creative endeavors. So.
Exactly, and this quote is so fantastic. I just know you're going to love it. It says, creative greats have the resilience and drive to not get beaten down by losing at a creative challenge.
Wow.
Just like athletes, they have the tenacity to get up, dust themselves off, and refuse to quit. This mindset of determination is key to the creative process.
Love it.
And that quote is by Christopher Berglund from Psychology Today's blog, The Athlete's Way. And I just thought that was a really fantastic quote. And I read this particular chapter of this book by Jordan Rosenfeld You can see how beat up it is. I use it a lot. I've probably read that chapter about 100 times. But
I'm gonna put your book back in.
Awesome. I'm gonna set these down. I've had a lot of experience with rejection recently. I self-published Frost because I sent to a lot of different editors and agents who really didn't, stand up in the industry, but I disagreed.
How did you go about self-publishing like that? I know we're going to have a specific writer's luncheon to help and encourage those that want to publish and they may want to take the self-publishing route. Like, give us a little bit of info on how you went about doing that.
I went through Amazon's Kindle Direct publishing thing. It's kdp.amazon.com.
Okay.
And it's a really easy interface.
kdp.amazon.com.
Okay. It's a super easy interface to go through. And for formatting my books, both for print and for the ebook, I use reedsy.com. It's reedsy.com.
Reedsy.com.
They're really fantastic for formatting, and it's free to use.
I like free.
Just like KDP. KDP's free to use too. I lived the broke life a lot, and I like using free tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I cannot recommend Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing enough. They do, print copies of books now instead of having to go separately through CreateSpace on Amazon. I'm looking at expanding through Pronoun, which is a publishing company. They only do the ebook side, but you can publish through them to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo,
that's incredible.
A lot of different venues. So they're pretty fantastic too.
Eyes on your work that day.
Yeah. And Frost is exclusively available through Amazon because I went
Frost is available through Amazon.
Through KDP. All you have to do is Google my name, Chelsea Moye, M-O-Y-E.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yep. Just put it in the search bar on Amazon, and Frost is the first thing that pops up, even though I've published several other things on there too.
Yeah.
But that's,
what other things have you published on there?
I've published some short stories that are available on there. I actually published them through Tableau. I've used a lot of different things. Tableau runs out of Australia, and they ended up having
I love Australia.
Disagreed with Amazon.
Really?
So some of the short stories that I published through there are now only available on iBooks.
Okay.
But I do have a few short stories available on Amazon also.
Awesome.
And
I would love to read and share some of your short stories with people sometime.
We should.
A little bit live here, and then definitely in-house, so to speak.
That would be fantastic. Maybe at our next date, I'll bring in a copy of my my piece, The Death Sentence, that got published in Noir Nation #3.
Ooh.
I think that would be great for the Honing Your Horror,
sounds
spooky,
creepy,
mystery,
very
suspense
Halloween
feel.
I love it.
It's very dark.
I love the fact that we're able to focus on some themed, seasonal types of writing. I know we're getting into some poetry soon, and right now we're doing this creepy horror kind of stuff. And this packet is talking about some imagery and description and how to paint a picture that, whatever you're trying to, get across to people.
Without info dumping, which is really important.
Yeah. And the first rule is talking about show, don't tell. So tell us a little bit about some of this info, or can we do that? We need to
first let's actually talk about our Honing Your Horror writing challenge for people, and then we'll give a shout out and start our work here. Okay. But we have a writing challenge going on right now through our YouTube channel. I've posted a video with it, and what we're having you guys do is write a single paragraph, just one, about what your worst fear is, but you can't name your fear in the paragraph. We're using the show, don't tell principle, and you have to describe your fear instead, and then we have to see if we can figure out what your worst fear is. And, once you submit,
so you can't tell what it is.
You can't tell what it is. It's a
secret.
People have to guess. Yeah. And once you've posted your entry in the comments on that particular YouTube video, which we'll put a link to in the comments, share it with your family, share it with your friends. The entry that gets the most likes is actually going to win a free half-hour Skype coaching session with me for, if you'd like feedback on just general advice about publishing and writing.
She's very good at, by the way. I can test seen it in action.
And it's you know, I feel like that's a fun prize that we can do, and I would enjoy doing because I want to mentor people as well the way that Debbie has mentored me. And I want to give a shout out because these packets are awesome. I wish I could have made this myself, but I didn't. I kind of like ran out of wheat this week. I had plans. They didn't happen. And that's okay.
It happens.
Because I Googled show don't tell worksheets, and these worksheets that were made by Marie Stevenson, who's a teacher at Stephen Decatur High School, came up. They were the #1 thing in the search results, and I was really excited about it, and I looked at it, and I loved it. And I think it's a really great free resource. It's available there for you online, and we're going to work our way through it now.
Play around with it. I love the ability for us to gather and shoot ideas back and forth, play around with some of our writings. Last, a couple weeks ago, we just sat out and we just wrote. What we did was we started, we're going to get into this, but like just some other things that we've done. We started out as an exercise with just a word, and we just expanded on that word, and the word was contentment, and what that meant to you, and what it meant to feel content versus anxious, and we kind of described those feelings. And then just, 15 minutes, hit the timer, and kind of went through and read our pieces and gave each other feedback. It's a lot of fun. So
awesome. I love constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
No negative Nellies though.
And it's a lot more helpful to me whenever I have someone that's giving that feedback rather than just in my own head and analyzing your work like you can do. And I mean, what is it?
There's
2 ears are better.
No, that's what we have.
2 heads are better than one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that you can maybe not catch in your own writing, but if you don't have a group that you can do that kind of feedback thing with, you can copy and paste your piece into Google Translate and just go English to English, and it'll read your piece out loud to you and maybe catch mistakes and where it's funky and things like that. So that's another free little tip there for you.
That's smart.
But anyhow, let's dive into this. Show, don't tell. It's an important rule when it comes to writing your story. Thank you again so much to Ms. Stevenson from Stephen Decatur High School for this. We're just like hijacking your worksheet now, and we're going to work our way through it. Showing really has a lot of magic to it, and it's the technique that can breathe life into your story as opposed to just, telling people this character was mad, or this is what's going on, and just kind of like blah, just sticking that out on the page. You can really buff things up quite a lot. And
like this, for example, on the packet, this guy looks kind of mad, but we're trying to describe what he might look like. So we're painting a picture and an image. So I have my fear in my mind right now of what it is, and I'm trying to not tell you what it is, but I'm imagining what it looks like, and I'm just kind of zooming in on that thing and trying to give you little clues and details as to what that might be.
So, and once we've looked at the packet, I will actually be scribbling out my paragraph for what my fear is.
I have a little bit of mine.
Awesome. If you want to go ahead and share, you can.
No.
But yeah, I feel like I need to be scribbling mine too. We're just gonna get into the meat of this.
Sure.
The first example, the telling sentence is Jack was afraid, but the showing sentence example they gave us is, as the footsteps tapped closer and closer, Jack felt his stomach muscles tighten. He flattened himself to the wall, the gritty bricks against his cheek. Sweat chilled his palms. He used both hands to steady the gun.
Whoa, that's so good.
You can feel it so much more, and it puts you so much more in the moment. And when I'm writing and when I'm doing description, I kind of play the scene as a movie in my head first, and like kind of watch the scene over and over, and then pick the details that I want to share and put on the page, and then go through an extremely long editing and polishing process.
A little bit of this here, move, circle, arrow, arrow. That's what I do.
Oh God, editing and polishing for me. I have this terrible habit. Writers, please don't do this to yourselves. I will finish a story or get like 3/4 of the way through the story and then decide that's not what the story is and do the whole thing and over again. And that's why it took me 11 years to release my first novel.
I've seen, well, I do this, but I think in all art forms it's very similar. Like, I'll paint something and then find myself trying to cover it up and repaint over it. And it's like, oh, it's good already, leave it alone. But that's why I enjoy having some feedback with people that can say, no, that looks really good, instead of us criticizing our work.
Yeah, ignore that little evil voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, please. You know, like, yes, you can always improve, but let you know, your feedback group or your editor or your agent or whoever, you know, give you constructive criticism on how you can make your work better. But don't let that little voice in your head tear you down, because I've struggled with that. And we're going to take like a little side note back to the rejection thing a little bit, because they've given pretty good criticisms every time that I've gotten a rejection. But I have mental health issues, not something I'm ashamed of. I have type 2 bipolar, I'm ADHD, I have sensory processing disorder. So to me, the rejection like instantly feels like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. I'm never gonna write again. This is horrible. I will have like a depressive episode and cry, and it's just like, you know, delete everything I've ever written, and it's terrible. And just like, be kinder to yourself than I have been to myself in the past. Like, you know, just be kind to yourself and take the constructive criticism and the rejection is saying, okay, I can work on this. I can work through this. I can, you know, I can do it. You can do it. You can move on. You can try to submit elsewhere. You can take the advice and try to tweak your piece, but don't let yourself get bogged down in negative feelings. And I really, truly struggle with that because of my mental health issues. But my husband, Lake, hi baby, I love you, has really helped me out a lot with not giving in to that whole negative, self-deprecating, awful voice that's in my head.
That's awesome, Chelsea. That's really great advice, because I know a lot of people struggle with that. But it's about overcoming that with your own thoughts and saying kind things to yourself. And I personally will pray and say, Lord, help me to be more positive. And
I need to pray that.
There is the voice, like you're talking about all these negative things, and then you find yourself hearing the positive opposite things, and you're kind of battling back and forth, because we all want to think the positive things of ourselves that we know, but sometimes those negative voices can be so much louder, and it's time to accept the positive in those things like that, especially when you're trying to accomplish something you really want to do. You have to choose to be positive and kind towards yourself.
Yes. Follow your passions and your dreams, please. Like, don't let the fact that what you love might not be profitable for you stop you from enjoying your hobbies and the things you want to do. Like, I would love to be making massive amounts of money off my writing, because who doesn't dream of doing that? But I'm going to write either way, whether I'm successful or not, just because I love it. And it's, you know, something you need to enjoy without putting that burden of, can I make money off this, on your, you know, whatever you love to do. And don't feel guilty about doing what you love to do either. Like, yes, you have other responsibilities, but you can still enjoy yourself in the things you love to do and get your responsibilities taken care of also.
Yes.
You need balance.
Yeah. Value your time and treat yourself with the things that you just love to do for no other reason than that.
Yes, that you love it.
And it's fun.
That's fantastic. You do love it, and it's fun. But some of the awesome notes from what she's talking about with the telling sentence and the showing sentence we talked about with Jack and being afraid, and that amazing description. And in telling sentence, we are info dumps. They just give us information. And it's a way that doesn't involve us. And, you know, we don't feel like we're in the scene when you just hear Jack was afraid. You know, why do I care?
There's a lot of questions that come to my mind when I just hear that.
Yeah, but, you know, I like the descriptive sentence better, because it gives us valid, visual, visceral things that you can see and feel and hear. Yeah. We don't want to have to do that kind of work as readers. Things are really going to be a strength for you in your writing once you get to learn that balance between showing and telling, because there's going to be times where you have to tell, like for brevity's sake or whatever.
Right.
But try if you can to show before you ever tell. And, you know, try it both ways and get feedback. You know, we have an online Facebook group with our writers group, and we would love it if you would post your pieces in there if you're looking for positive, constructive criticism. And, you know, like, I would love to give those kind of things to you. I love working with people and helping them grow as writers because, you know I had a long way to go, but I've had an excellent mentor, and I'm really looking forward to what the future has to offer, and I'd love to, you know, turn around and give a hand up to the people behind me. Rising tide lifts all boats, guys. But in the show, Live Through the Scene with Jack, we get to hear the sound of the footsteps, feel the tension in his stomach, the cold, the dampness of his hands, the grittiness of the brick. We see the gun in his shaking hands, and we live his fear rather than merely being told of it. And along the way, Jack starts to kind of feel real to you, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of being a writer, is that you can take these fictional characters that you just came up with in your head and make a whole new reality that could reveal some kind of truth to somebody that's looking for something. And that's, you know, that's what I hope people find in Frost, is some kind of truth that they needed to hear. But anyway, let's move on to the second example and see what we've got going there.
Real life.
Yes, real life things. But anyhow,
second example.
Dave thought Brenda was acting secretive. I know I'm reading that tonally as just because that's how I feel about telling. But the showing sentence is, I think, a lot more fantastic. Brenda slammed his dresser door shut and spun around, her hands hidden behind her back. Her lips jerked into a stiff smile. Dave, I thought you wouldn't be home until 6 o'clock. Now I want to know what she's hiding. That's pretty excellent. All right. The showing, we get physical action, facial expression, which I have issues writing facial expressions for some reason. And I started using AutoCrit recently, which is a great writing software, not free, but I'm willing to pay for it.
It's like CRIT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's AUTOCRIT, and it's a software that picks out like repetitiveness in your writing, weak words, all kinds of things like that. To me, it's worth $30 a month because I make I make my characters shrug a lot. Like, I use shrugging as a crutch, I think, almost in my writing, and I've got to find better ways to describe non-committal behavior. And I think that that's something worth looking at also. And, knowing your weaknesses as a writer, don't beat yourself up about them, but know what you need to work on. And I definitely use shrugging as a crutch. But anyway, let's see. The showing example, physical action, facial expression, and dialogue to convey the same information as the telling sentence. But with showing, we get a more vivid picture. We watch the scene as if it's playing out on a movie screen. So showing makes the scene come to life through the use of details. So take a good close look at how you present your ideas and characters. All good books touch the reader on an emotional level, and you do that by giving proof to the reader, proof of how this character acts and reacts when faced by problems. And that's such fantastic advice. I really want to hug this teacher. I don't know her at all, but the lady who created this worksheet,
you do so by giving proof to the reader, proof of how this character acts and reacts when facing problems. In other words, you don't have a good idea of your character's character, it's hard to do that.
It is hard.
So that's a little thing I got from that.
Getting to know your characters is really important too, and they will, as you're writing, grow and evolve, but I feel like it's really important to kind of get to know them, maybe do a profile of them, or possibly a collage. I like making collages. Do a collage that has
their traits.
What they might look like. If you find somebody that looks kind of like the character in a magazine, just you can refer to that and look at that when you're doing descriptive things, like their type, the kind of house they might live in, the kind of things they like.
Yeah.
I feel like that creatively.
And that's all up to you, whatever you want them to be like.
Yes, but please, please, please give your characters flaws. It's no fun at all to read a character that doesn't have any flaws. Give them, like, self-doubt or things that make them,
whenever you are making those reactions and how they react.
Make them human. Just make them more human. People, there's no such thing as a perfect person, and I don't want to read a perfect character. I like people who are flawed because I can feel that on a real level. I know I'm a flawed human being, and, I like to read characters working through their flaws, and I like to write that, too.
In other words, you show the reader why we should cheer for them, or
boo them.
Oh, yeah. Cheer for them or boo them. And hopefully in the process, readers will find themselves drawn into the story, unable to put the book down.
Yeah. I'm looking for that kind of page-turn quality in my own writing.
We need details. We need to know thoughts, feelings. We need to see, hear, feel, smell, and taste your story.
Yes.
This is so much fun.
If you feel like a scene is falling flat, go through it and see which of the 5 senses you may not have used in the scene, and try to build that into the scene also.
I like this one. The house was haunted. And then the showing sentences, the old house stood eerily abandoned on the hill, scaring everyone in the neighborhood with creaking, breathing noises.
I love
breathing noises.
Halloween-y. But houses can breathe and old places can. Definitely they shift, they creak, they kind of have personalities of their own.
That description, breathing noises. That's so cool. I just see the air and it's like a bunch of spaces, a bunch of holes in this old house.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me think about our Halloween mystery dinner that's coming up. The first date is the 13th. And then they're all sold out until the 4th of November and the 10th of November. We actually just added those because we kept having people trying to call in and be able to go, and I was unfortunately unable to book them. But now we have these 2 other dates. So the 4th and the 10th. Yeah, we're writing that right now too. The script is completely finished except for some little polishing details, and we're going to start decorating. Here's some
placing clues for you to find, guys. Which are important in suspense writing, and it's so hard to decide on your clues.
We're going to be creating a lot of the clues ourselves at little DIY projects, and we have some fall crafts coming up. Craft projects, little craft parties. So if you'd like to be involved with those too, you can give me a call or comment down below. Go to our Facebook page. Again, that's facebook.com/TCKBM. You'll see all of our craft party ideas, a video about them. How to get involved.
Also, with this packet, this is awesome. There's some writing exercises stuck on a student handout in the back. And you can write a showing sentence about each of these telling sentences. And you can pick a couple and do them back here. I'm going to do a telling sentence about my worst fear and then a showing paragraph. And we'll see what we can do with that. But these exercises are really fun. Write every day. That's my recommendation. Even if you scribble down 1 sentence, try to exercise that muscle every day. It works the same way as when you gotta exercise, produce for you. And one of these packets, you can pick one up. We have 8 on hand, and I can always print more. So let's do our telling sentence and then work on our paragraph.
Any sentence in the world, or this is the...
Let's go with our worst.
Look at yours.
Okay. I may not look at yours either. Okay.
Mine is so random. Going into my inner writer's circle for this. Which we do these, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we do this every week, a couple times a week. So you're welcome. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm done. Are you done?
I'm not done with my paragraph because I'm.
Oh, you're doing a paragraph? Lord.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I've got my telling sentence if we want to talk about what our worst fears are, and then I'm going to work on I'll do a showing sentence that I can build into a paragraph
Oh, crap,
later.
I didn't do fear. I forgot. I just did a regular sentence.
Oh, that's
So now I'll have a regular sentence, and then I'll have a fear sentence. Maybe. Okay. You want to go with something, though? Did you have something you wanted to go ahead and do?
I can go ahead and tell them my telling sentence if they want to hear that while I'm working on my showing.
Y'all want to hear it, right?
Yeah. We're going to assume yes. But my worst fear is being abandoned because I'm a worthless failure.
Oh my gosh. Do you really believe this?
No. Like, I mean, there's voices in my head that want me to believe that, but no.
I see. Okay, cool.
All right. That's like that would be my worst case scenario.
Yeah. You are not a worthless failure. Let's go ahead and start there. All right, and that's your telling. So my worst fear is being abandoned because I'm a worthless failure. And mine is I'm afraid of spiders. Yours is so much deeper than mine.
I'm also afraid of spiders, though. Like, I would be okay with it if they all died.
Yeah, I might carry around a lighter just for spiders.
Lighter and hairspray. Gotta love a homemade flamethrower, guys. I'm not recommending that you do that, by the way. Don't take that way. Ooh.
Yeah, we are not endorsing that type of behavior. I wonder sometimes if I make up words. I'm like, is that even a word? I think it is. But I have been known to just make up words, which is very fun, kind of like Cat in the Hat-ish, you know? But I know that actually this is
I enjoy playing with language in general.
It's cool. Can you over-descript? Like,
you can get overly descriptive, but that's where editors come in and tell you what details you need to keep.
Okay, well, I'm going to do something. I'm just going to go with your constructive criticism.
All right.
I have a sentence and another sentence.
Share yours while I'm working on my little. It's gonna be a paragraph because I have no self-control.
Okay, I have the dog is brown, and then I said I saw the dust kick up behind him as the floppy tan puppy ran up to take the ball from me.
Oh, that's precious. We love puppies, by the way, and kitties and most animals.
And then I said, speaking of precious things, interesting opposite, I am afraid of spiders. I cringe at the thought of those ginormous, prickly, ooey gooey, creepy crawly legs creeping across my pillowcase.
Oh, God. I don't think that's too descriptive at all. Like, I feel like that's perfect for the feel that a spider gives me.
Yes.
So much.
Prickly, ooey gooey, creepy crawly legs. I wanted to say something about them being gray and white. You know, two prickly gray and white hairs. You know, ginormous. Anyway, working gray and white hairs somewhere in there. But I'm excited to see yours. That apple cider is good.
Yes, it is.
That apple cider is good. What a horrible sentence.
Describe it for me. Go.
It's cool and refreshing apples. This cool and refreshing cinnamony fall drink is wonderful on my taste buds.
And I dripped on my packet.
My flaky appley tart is fabulous. It's sweet, yet slightly tangy, honey. It's perfect over the flaky tart. We had a lot more tart earlier, but it's mostly gone. Oh, yeah. It's one. If you would like to write something at home right now with us, go right ahead and share it in the comments down below. We're doing a plain sentence, just do, and then kind of beefing it up and making it more descriptive. The dog is brown.
Right, so coming back to mine, my worst fear is being abandoned because I'm a worthless failure. And this is the paragraph I wrote to go with that. It says, my ring finger feels so naked without a wedding band on it, just a pale strip of skin where something meaningful used to be. My house is a silent tomb where love and laughter used to be. Oh, that's repetitive. I'll need to fix that later. If I'd been more or better, perhaps the space might be full and warm instead of cold and empty.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Made an ugly thing beautiful with description.
Yeah. Well, it's beautifully horrific.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do for your repetitive part? Read it over for me one more time.
All right. I'm just going to read the whole paragraph. My ring finger feels so naked without a wedding band on it. Just a pale strip of skin where something meaningful used to be.
I love the pale strip of skin. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice.
My house is a silent tomb where love and laughter, and then I had used to be repeated there. But once lived instead.
I also heard echoed through the halls.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah.
I like that.
My house is a silent tomb where love and laughter once lived. If I'd been more or better, perhaps the space might be full and warm instead of cold and empty.
That's so pretty. Oh, that's beautiful. I know a lot of people think those things.
Yeah, that's like that is my deepest and worst fear. And like before I met my husband, I did not fear being alone at all, but now I'm just like, I've always had the fear of being a spectacular failure.
Well, just it shows that you appreciate him. You know, we all would hate the thought of that happening. It's really, really cool.
I'm just doing a normal sentence now.
Okay.
I'm
going to try and do a long one.
Come back from
wonder
that
if anybody's
deep
writing
depression.
at home.
I hope somebody's writing at home. I'd love to see it in the comments, you guys.
Okay.
Come back from it.
I know.
Do something normal, Chelsea.
No, you're fine. I love moving things. Like, it's so full of emotion. I think it reminds people of a lot of feelings, and then it like creates this relatability. It's really nice.
As a person who's never felt relatable in her life, it's nice to know that there is some relatability in me somewhere, because I've always kind of felt like a really odd duck.
No. Odd duck. I like that. I'm gonna write something about ducks. Here, I'll do the happy, blah blah blah, random stuff. Do you want to stay in this place?
I don't want to stay in this place. I'm gonna go to like the happy place somewhere.
I'll try and be dark and depressing. Let's see. Well, not necessarily. Emotion. We'll just say that.
Depressing emotions in reading can be cathartic for you, though. Like sometimes you need that good cry to kind of work through things.
Yeah. What's your sentence?
My normal sentence is the horse is a black Frisian. And then working on the description.
I guess it's something about your thing earlier. My sentence is there's no place like home.
Ooh. I'd love to see what you guys are writing about in the comments. Like, I can't wait to see what everybody enters. And don't forget, we'll be including a link to the Honing Your Horror Writing Challenge. You could possibly win something off that, so think about joining it. We'll post that in the comments.
Okay. Wow.
Hey, that was fortuitous.
Okay. Right, I said, there's no place like home. Home is where I love to lay my head and dream of all the memories we have made. I wonder if the pillow knows of its importance and feels the weight of my heavy heart tonight.
Oh. Now I want to know why your heart's so big.
I don't know, I just made it up. It's not. I promise, it's full of joy.
So my normal sentence was the horse is a black Frisian. And then the description I came up with is, I can't stop staring at the long ebony waves of the horse's mane. He is all high gloss coal and stocky muscle and proud spirit.
High gloss coal. Stocky muscle and proud spirit.
It's really cool. I love horses.
I love this.
Like, I've wanted a horse for my entire life. Mine's good. Cider.
Oh, well, this is just a little memory of the fact that we have cider. Yes.
Blow dry it. Cheers. The cider is fantastic.
Thank y'all for watching today. This has been awesome. We would love to have y'all anytime. We would love to have you see your information, or not your information, we'd love to see your personal info in the comments section.
No.
We'd love to see if you wrote anything today down in the comments section.
And like, we're going to transition now to working with each other in a critique circle, and we'd love to have you guys in to do that, but we're gonna,
can we take these and like expand on them?
I think we can. I feel like that's a fantastic idea. So thank you guys for stopping in and watching.
Stop by the Creative Kitchen. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TCKBM, and there's a handy dandy call button at the top. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.